Hello everyone, and welcome to the final episode of the BLT XII podcast. I am the 5'10" Mikoy, and I am joined by the short woman.
Hi, Pokemon 2004 here, and why did you have to do this, Mikoy?
Because I want to introduce our special guest here, who is coincidentally in the middle of both of our heights. Introduce yourself, guest.
Yeah, I'm Ian, but on Smogon I go by 5'5".
5'5" has joined us for this final episode, and coincidentally, they're part of the winning team, the Primal Power Pangoro. So congratulations to Jordy, Quinn, and the rest of the team for winning the very, very BLT of all time. Was it fun for you, 5'5"?
Yeah, this is my first ever BLT, because I'm relatively new to Smogon, so this is my first time ever playing like not a team tour. I've played a team tour, but team tour with singles players. So
yeah,
it was I had a good time. Yeah.
Good, and that's what we like to hear, especially for the new breakout competitors, and especially you put in quite the contribution to the Pangoro success with your consistent record in doubles and your excellent point of play, as we've both noted in the videos. So that's all well and good. So let's review your other teammates and how did they manage to contribute into winning your guys' finals matches. So here we go. The Primal Power Pangoros versus the Pillsbury Fido Boys. Fido Boys made a great effort making it into finals. They were in contention of potentially being out of playoffs, but they persevered in the later weeks, managed to get through semifinals, beating the Rufflets for poor Pokeyard.
And they couldn't do it without luck.
And but they came up short against the Pangoros. So let's see how that happened. First of all, the Ubers game where Vidiot and Ainscrad would have been nice to see them play, but unfortunately they did not, because the game was already decided before they could even have their match.
Well, set was already decided, yes.
Yeah, the set was already decided and everything else was pretty well established by that point. So, would have liked to see a rematch between these two, but all's fine and good. So now, first we move on to OU. Crying versus Tenebricide. So, this game was relatively pretty alright. It was kind of long. Well, that's thanks in no due part to the teams that they built. But then again, it's kind of recognizable now that we've seen...
What do you mean built?
Well, passed on. It is quite the recognizable team, might I add.
Yeah, that team's been used like at least 5 times this tour. Tenebricide's team, I think it's been used like 5 times this tour alone.
It's quite the consistent... Well, it's good. If it's if it's well built and well established as being a bulky offense, guys, you might as well take advantage and spam this team a lot, because it just works 95% of the time.
Yeah, but you really want to use a known team versus Crying?
Who was very good at well adapting in the OU tier, making herself like one of the big boy favorites, and, bringing something that's, very, very well. Not only does the matchup well, but also the fact that, it's just very good to bring against this sort of team. Alright, so recap.
I don't know what you're waffling about.
Well, let's get into the recap, shall we? First of all, we saw both setting up hazards. Prepare for me to say that a lot because most of these games pretty much tend to rely solely at the beginning part with hazards being set up, which is pretty standard. And then we saw the Dragonite Terra Grounding on turn 12, who killed Goldengo on a hard switch with Earthquake, while Darkrai managed to burn Zamazenta on turn 19, which I know we can heal it off with the rest, as Ogerpon crit killed Samurott on turn 23, which honestly didn't quite matter because it was already on 25%. It was already on a quarter health. And then Zamazenta came back in to kill Iron Treads on turn 36 after setting up after coming back into 2 layers of spikes. Then we saw the Darkrai reburning the Zamazenta after it healed itself on turn 54. It stalled out against it and Pecharunt for a while until finally switching out on turn 65, as Dragonite then Dragon Danced on turn 71 and began sweeping the rest, including a crit kill on Clefable on turn 76, winning Crying the game. Any thoughts?
Yeah, but obviously the crit kill probably didn't matter.
Yeah, it did.
Unless that was unaware with boots.
Well, even if it hypothetically didn't kill, then I mean, because it's a switch in, it just has to be next turn and do it anyway. So
Yeah,
I don't think it really into the game.
I agree.
It definitely didn't. I mean, look at this. It clearly didn't.
Yeah, and a well set up Dragonite will be very, very hard to beat in the end. So well done, Crying, for absolutely taking advantage. Just playing very well for the rest of the tour. We did not deny Crying all throughout this game, and look what happened. All throughout the store, and look what happened. They ended up with a good record, I believe.
The record is where.
Now this is I believe the record isn't updated, but yeah,
That is correct. Yeah.
yeah, but 5-2 you said, yeah, at their most updated. If you
At the most updated, but I guess I should probably look at something else just to see. 6-2.
So 6-2 at the most updated. Yeah, if the sheet were most updated, it would be a 6-2. Very good record. They had a rough patch. In the middle there, but they came back and did the strong thing, and look what they got them. A 6-2 record. Well done, Crying. Next up is the other OU's game between Batty and Stories. Another player who's been doing quite well for himself in the OU slot.
Despite a rough patch.
Despite there's a rough patch again, it's still a great OU player doing their best, and Batty certainly ended Stories' streak in OU. The match happened first with Tornadus knocking off Pecharunt's item, but got poisoned as Samurott set up hazards before dying to Hydrapple on turn 14, while Garganacl Terra-Watered on turn 19 and killed Landorus via Avalanche as Goldengo nearly killed it before killing Hydrapple on turn 24. Then we saw turn 31 where Dragonite inevitably died to the Ice Spinner Great Tusk. Pecharunt then killed it in return, while Zamazenta used Ice Fang to kill Tornadus and roared Goldengo in for it to die to hazards on turn 36. as Batty's own Goldango, then Terra Steel to beat King Gambit on turn 41, leaving only Garganackle as stories forfeited.
So, did Stories not have Sucker Punch on that King Gambit, or was Batty just making godly calls?
It probably was preserving it for something that would be low, but I don't know.
What do you mean, something that would be low? It doesn't get much lower than a 1% King Gambit.
It probably wouldn't.
1% Goldango.
It probably wouldn't, but I don't know. Maybe they just didn't carry or just didn't bother to use it.
Yeah, either it just didn't carry it for some reason, or Batty was thinking, there's no way she sucker punches here, and she didn't. So I don't know if this is just a lack of having the move altogether, or Batty just being too good.
Oh, it's probably the latter. It's probably the latter of Batty doing the risky thing, but ultimately it paid off. Thinking outside the box, playing smart, and ultimately winning. Any thoughts you want to give out, 5 at 5?
Yeah, I think it was just a 50-50 board. I mean, Batty already revealed plot, and I mean, it wasn't revealed yet, but recover. And Batty still had, Terra available, so, going for Terra recover is, it's, one of the very safe mid-ground plays, so I'm pretty sure Stories was just calling that 50-50.
Yeah, that's...
And I guess by thinking that she didn't sucker punch, and then ultimately lost because of that.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, and ultimately, that carried Batty to success, ending on a record, which hopefully is also very good.
6-2.
6-2, very good. Probably, wait, is it the same, do Batty and Crying basically have the same, rough patch in the middle scenario?
Yeah.
Wow. That's so coincidental. That's really funny. Alright. So, well done, Batty. Again, another player with another respectable record. So, well done. And, again, another very good contribution. Again, these OU slots just keep kicking ass. And both OU slots kick ass. This
6-2 in both OU slots is crazy. I don't think any team stood a chance from the get-go.
That's what you get. Well, that's one of their biggest factors here.
Us, I don't know.
It's one of their biggest factors they ultimately winning, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for Batty and Crying to have, which is a good OU slot. Next up is Yu, and hopefully, Pokeart, this is sort of vindication for you. 691 versus Dunox. Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel satisfied in how this turned out?
Yes.
Good for you. So, here we have some nice teams here from both players, but the game was akin. Slow King paralyzed Greninja on turn 10 as Slowbro paralyzed it back, while Thundurus beat Tornadus on turn 23. Then we saw the Terra Poison Zarude set up using Trailblaze and Bulk Up while knocking off 691's items as he heal stalled against Cobalion, who set up Iron Defense. And then the eventual turn came, turn 46, where a crit body press from Cobalion eventually killed Zarude, which was pretty unfortunate.
I don't know, with how much Dunox was healing that thing, he was asking for it.
Jungle healing did not prove himself to be quite the savior here, as Cobalion ended up killing it and being preserved for later in the game, in which Dunox was losing momentum after the fact. 691 continued to outplay as Tornadus killed Excadrill on turn 67. Ultimately, Dunox forfeited because the focus hit. Any other thoughts?
Dunox really liked baiting out those focus blasts, and it seemed to work every time.
I guess it's just good, reliable. But well, I guess he was doing well to do that for a while, and then eventually the focus blast did hit, killed the Excadrill, boom.
The focus blast hit almost every time. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, that's what. Well, good, I guess. Do you have thoughts? 6'9", 5'5", wrong number.
Yeah, crits are unfortunate, but when you're on the board for that long, it's inevitable. And yeah, a lot of switching late game. It's a lot of pivoting and trying to get a good board position. So good game though, nevertheless.
Yes, it was a good game in the end.
There were points where I was thinking to myself that 691 should go for double volt switch sometimes. Because come on, he keeps baiting out the focus blast. He wants to use all your focus blast, PP. That way you won't be able to hit the Excadrill with it or something.
I don't know.
That's what he wants.
Oh, but probably that. I don't think it carries grass knot or something. Or something
Yeah,
wild.
no, he didn't.
Yeah, it would be wild
Probably
if he did.
not.
Yeah, it would be wild if he did carry. So
Well, actually, 555. Do you know if he did?
Sorry, do I know if he what?
If 691's Thunderous carried Nasty Plot.
I could not tell you now.
Damn.
Oh. Well, it was a good game either way. And well done, 691. One of the stronger UU players we've had this tour. Probably one of the probably the top ranked UU player. You want to check that book out.
Well, if you mean
The
best
records.
record,
Well, records wise,
maybe?
yeah. What's his record then?
Let's see. Let's see. 1-1.
Damn, another six game winner. Another 6-game winner, but he had some struggles in the early beginning there, as I've noticed, but he came back and he proved himself quite strong.
3 he lost to were Piyush, Ziri, and Taking Notes Kinda.
Dang, what a record. Well, 2 strong players and Taking Notes Kinda. Alright. But yeah, well done to 691 for carrying UU for the Pangoros. Very well deserved there. Next up, we have RU. Apparently, both players won because both were bolded.
What?
Look at the smog post. Both were bolded.
Oh. They were both bolded.
So they both won the game, but really Esteban beat High and Aiming is Hard in one of the only Pangoros losses here. So this one
got a little unlucky in this game.
So yeah, this game was quite interesting. We saw the Talonflame burning the Raikou early on, as Rotom then set up and paralyzed Registeel with a discharge on turn 8 and killed Raikou, while Salamence beat the Swampert on turn 18 and survived Raikou's Thunderbolt to kill it with Earthquake on turn 24 before dying to its Life Orb. Then we saw turn...
I have to wonder if that was a roll or if high naming was just perfectly fine with Raiko dying, as long as it meant Salamence would die too.
Probably. I guess if you wanted to remove an attacker, a very strong threat.
I mean, to be fair, that Salamence was a pretty big problem, I think.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a threat. Could probably take out everyone of the team if it chooses to.
Not necessarily that. It's more like there's no good switch-ins to it.
Maybe Jirachi, but okay.
No, because this is
Earthquake.
this is Life Orb Earthquake.
Yep, that's true. So then we saw turn 31. We saw the Registeel tried to set up with Iron Defense. Talonflame Terragrosted to block its body press. Then it stalled for a while, was out for a really long time until it switched out on turn 60. However, Zarina did die to Jirachi on turn 66 with the flinch chances, who then lost to Terraflying Zapdos Galar, who's kind of just swept Esteban, or no, who kind of just swept High Naming in the end to win.
You know, it's funny. High Naming got those flinches, but he needed what he actually needed. He didn't get.
What did he need?
He needed statuses to trigger. He needed flame bodies. He needed a body press to paralyze things, and of course, flame body is only a 30% chance to trigger, but he really needed paralysis from body slam, and I don't think he got a single time.
Wow, that's unfortunate. Jirachi not working its Serene Graceness. It did get flinches against Serena.
Well, I guess it only used body slam twice now that I look back at it, but he really needed his statuses to trigger, and well, he didn't get any of his statuses to trigger.
Yeah.
Body slam not paralyzing is a bit more unlucky than say flame body not triggering, because obviously that is a 60% chance.
Yeah, which was very unfortunate, and he played fairly well despite not getting the statuses. It just got unfortunately Zapdos Galar was well preserved by Esteban in the end. Ultimately.
Yeah, that's why if that thing got burned, I think High Naming could have won with Rotom. If it got paralyzed, again, I think High Naming could have won with Rotom.
Rotom would have been his win con, especially dealing with that Registeel. So yeah, 5-5. Yeah,
he was trying to outstall the body presses on Registeel, but I guess that's a little difficult when one of your mons is immune. You have a mon with Encore. It's really difficult positioning wise.
That's true. So 5-5. Do you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, it just came down to the body slam full para on the Zapdos, so then we would have been able to clean up. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It collected twice, no full para, but I mean, when you get flinches when you're playing Jirachi, you get some, lose some, so it just happens with the Mon.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Would you say those flinches were pivotal in giving High Naming at least a chance at bringing it back?
It depends on the Serena set, but I don't think Noct did enough. Oh no.
I think, wasn't the Jirachi kind of low though? Or am I misremembering?
It was at 43%. Oh well, I think Noct would kill actually, so yeah, I do. Probably, but you're also statistically likely to get them because they're 60%, so.
That's
you
true.
Get some, lose some, so.
You win some, you lose some. So, Kind of unfortunate for I Naming Is Hard, but they did play well all throughout this tour. So, no shame in that. Esteban, though, very well played. Definitely pulled the weight for a couple of these, and being slotted into RU was kind of a godsend after having a decent record in PU. Yeah. Eternal Ocean, great player. Hopefully you come back for more.
Wait, decent record in
PU.
Okay, you were talking about Esteban.
Yes. Alright. Next up we have NU. Django defeating Shinjineer. One of the...
That was a pretty big upset that I don't think anyone expected.
The unstoppable Shinjineer being stopped by Django, who brought rain. Who brought a rain team, very hyper-offensive rain team, ultimately winning with it. Whoa. So
yeah, I'm no expert in NU this gen, but like when the game was happening and I saw this, I saw a matchup, I'm like, okay, I'm no expert, but is it me or does Shinjineer's matchup look awful?
It did look awful. It very much wasn't well in favor of Django. And ultimately, Django just had to play the rain team right, and ultimately, look what they got him. So, Tornadus setting up the rain, as Kingdra used focus energy on a protecting Meloetta. Mind you, getting that free focused energy
Swing and focus energy. This is evil.
Yes.
This isn't normal rain. This is evil rain.
This is very evil rain. As Gligar unfortunately suffered the wrath of it, as it got crit killed by the Surf and the Draco Meteor. Meloetta also suffered as another sack. As Diancie then defeated the Screamtail before dying to the Uxie on turn 17. Mementoing against the Brute Bonnet to bring in the Overquill, who Terra Watered to beat the Terra Ground Tauros on turn 22. Overquill then survived a Boom Burst to beat the Screamtail, as Brute Bonnet defeated it and Kingdra, despite Kingdra getting a crit Draco Meteor there.
Yeah, a crit even without the critical hit boost.
The focus energy. It got to Sucker Punch and deal a lot of damage and killed it. Unfortunately, Tornadus didn't get crit. Fortunately, it did get to U-turn, killing Brute Bonnet, winning Django this game. You have any other thoughts?
Not really. That's basically what happened.
Yeah, I thought it was a very dominant game from Django, and it was very well played. And it's a nice upset to have, especially in the finals of the tour. So.
Yep, I always thought Django had potential. Unfortunately, he had kind of a rough going in the first couple, but you know. He pulled it off. He pulled off quite the upset, and fortunately, he was able to beat Shinjineer when it mattered. Shinjineer still has the best record in NU, but man, did this loss.
Wait a minute. Does he? Are you sure about that?
Oh, that's right. You have Acid. You're tied with the best record with Acid.
Are you sure about that?
Wait, are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting?
I think Shinjineer 6-3 now?
Does he have that many losses? Really?
If I remember correctly, he lost Week 7, lost semis, and lost finals.
Jesus Christ! This man's on a losing streak. That's really unfortunate to have in finals.
Well, it's okay, because it's over now, since his team lost.
Really quick, does Acid have a better record than Shinjinir?
Well, technically, yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
He went 6-2.
He suffered one less loss. Wow. That's real surprising. Well, again, good for Acid, I guess. But still, Shinjinir with that 6-0 run, still well deserving as one of the Fido's best player, if not the best. So, but Django, well done. Again, very well played, and bringing the Rain team was definitely the right call. So that's very good.
I'm just realizing that two of the Fido's most dominant slots lost this week.
Yes, they did. We'll talk about the other one later on, but yeah, it's quite the unfortunate track that Shinjinir and Redacted also lost in the same when it mattered. So LC was next because PU didn't get played. Tsuzuka versus Zuzawawa. So we'll move on now to LC, where Shen lost to Taking Notes Kinda. Wow. Alright, this game was weird. Let's just call it outright. This game was weird. Alright. First off, we saw Mudbray surviving Vullaby's attacks to kill it with Stone Edge, while Diglett counteracted to kill Vullaby with Rock Blast on turn 4, while Sin hard switched Diglett to be sacked to Glimmet on turn 17, which I thought was kind of a weird play. Kind of understandable, I guess. But
probably was expecting like Power Gem or something.
Which I guess, but like he didn't really have that many switch-ins left against the a mud-shotting Diglett. I guess Meanfu would have been the best option to hard switch there, but
that Meanfu didn't have EVO. Like you don't really want to be. You don't really want to hard switch on a potential Sludge Bomb.
Yeah, I guess so. So, it counteracted though as TNK's Diglett got hard switched for Marini to die to Meanfu on turn 20. And then we saw the Torchic Terrified but missed Fire Blast on turn 22. Killed by Glimmet shortly after. Yeah, it cost Sen the game pretty hard there, as Meanfu killed the Glimmet shortly after, but then comes the Shelder, who shell smashed, beat the Meanfu, beat the Marini, winning, Taking Notes kinda this game. Any other thoughts?
Just unfortunate,
Yes, it was.
It happens.
Yes, it was very unfortunate. What about you, Poké?
Getting crit, Mudbray getting crit at the beginning sucked a bit, but the Fire Blast miss straight up costed Sen the game, because that would have killed Glimmet. Shelter probably would have came in, and probably would have had to just straight up Rock Blast in order to not potentially get swept by this horrifying Torchic.
Would have been funny if Torchic instead protected, and then Taking Notes kinda would have had a free shell smash in. That would have been really funny to see.
Yeah, what would have been even funnier?
Well,
Shelter then proceeding to get one shot because its special defense is lowered and the Torchic is still faster.
Yeah, because it would have been a 2.5x aside from Shelter's 2x. So
Okay, I don't know if it actually would have one-shot per se, but like,
I mean, it had a
Shelter's not
hazard.
exactly bulky
Well,
in the Special Defense Department.
Shelter would have come into a hazard, so potential sash shelter would be gone. So also it had
It's not sash, it's aviolite.
Yeah, I would expect it would be aviolite because it really could have been either or. But you know, good on Sen for trying at least. But yeah, that miss was very unfortunate. Could have won him the game there. As you know,
yeah, basically, if it hadn't missed, the game would have probably gone something like he kills the Glimmet, Shelter comes in, Rock Blast the Torchic, so it dies. 555, do you know what set the Torchic was, by the way?
Let me go and see. I'm assuming Life Orb.
I would think so. We just never got the reveal.
Life Orb. Yeah.
It's Life Orb Torchic. It definitely would have gotten the kill.
Yeah, so it kills the Glimmet. It does a hefty amount to Shelter, probably dies to Rock Blast, unless it misses. And then Meanfu
fakes out.
Then Meanfu can come in, or hell, no, even Marini can come in if it's fast enough, and like either one of them can come in, finish off Shelter, and between those two, I think they can handle TNK's Meanfu and Fungus, probably.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's good at wave stalling for both of them. And Sen would have had to, just consistently switch in Meanfu and Marini, just keep playing with the regens against both of Meanfu and Fungus. So it would have been a nice long regen battle, but yeah, unfortunately,
yeah, it would have been 2 regens versus another 2 regens. Although I guess it would have the end result of the game in the case of not missing would probably just come down to who plays better then, because I guess Sen is still a little disadvantaged because of the fact that let's see, both of his regeners had their Eviolite knocked off, whereas both of Taken Note's kinda regeners did not.
Yep. And, it would have been a nice long battle, but I don't know who would have gotten the win either way. It just would have came down to a very, very long stall fest. But that miss made things quicker, I guess, for Taking Notes kinda to win, basically. So that's the end result there. LC is kind of a mixed bag this tier, probably a lot more negatively received than others, but yes. Still fun nonetheless. Next up is Monotype. Memphis Depay beating Royal Reloaded. This one I literally can see a mile away, because it's both Memphis Depay just bringing the very damn good Dark team against Royal Reloaded's Water team. So we start things off with Toxapex poisoning the Hoopa on turn 5, who crit killed Swampert on turn 11 with a nasty knockoff. Probably didn't matter. But Primarina...
Well, let's see.
Oh.
Turn 11, you said?
Turn 11.
Not sure. Actually, wait.
Hoopa's physical attack is pretty good.
Let's see, it did 45 with the item being there.
Yeah. Oh. So, didn't matter. I would think it didn't matter.
2.67 times 45. It was still doing 30-ish.
Yeah, I would say the same. So, Primarina first killed the Tinglu on turn 19, while Meowscarada defeated the Ogrepon and Greninja, the latter with tricking on turn 23 to gain Choice Scarf instead of Choice Band. So bad trick there on the part of Royal. Using Switcheroo, got himself a Choice Band instead of a Choice Scarf or anything to prevent, anything to unshackle it from potentially sweeping it. Did not work in his favor. Then Toxapex poisoned Low Kicks and Mandibuzz, while Meowscarada defeated Urshifu on turn 35 before dying to Primarina, whom Hoopa killed it and Toxapex in the end for Memphis to win. Any other thoughts?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, I'm not particularly familiar with singles at all, but I was very impressed with Memphis's gameplay throughout the season.
He's one of the players I specifically highlighted all the videos. I particularly liked how Memphis is played, and I kept glazing him for the tour as being one of the best mono players, and the hard work paid off. So, Pokeart, did you have anything to say?
I find it funny how that Toxapex is so damn bulky that I couldn't tell for a bit that the Meowscarada was banded.
That's the power of a good wall.
Let me put this into perspective. That's a banded Meowscarada using Flower Trick, which, always crits, and it's doing less than half. It's only doing 45.
I wonder what the
that's a 70 base power stab move from a physical attacker that's choice banded, and that's a crit.
Double. So doing double damage. So 140 base power. Doing that.
And it was only doing 20 something once it lost that band.
Yeah. I wonder what the investment was on that Toxapex. It was really bulky.
Thing must have been max HP, max defense, impish, or something insane.
Just put in all the investment in defense. Just make it as defensive as humanly possible.
Maybe not impish, but some sort of plus defense nature.
Just very good defensive natures all around. And, very well utilized, but unfortunately, Memphis just kind of outplayed. Using the Toxics pretty much in his favor, to be honest. He wasn't really bothered by all the toxicking as well, because, he just continued to play and just strive for the win.
Between Meowscarada and Thunderbolt Hoopa, yeah, he had a pretty good thing going here.
Thunder Punch.
Wasn't really concerned.
Thunder Punch Meowscarada at that, which, that was a...
Yeah, that even more so, yeah.
Yeah, he basically... He had all the tools to beat a water type. Yeah, he came kind of prepared against the water type team, so he had brought, two good things that ultimately benefited, ultimately benefited his team against water type teams.
Yeah, did Memphis see water coming?
Let me take a look.
I don't know, but he probably was prepping against some sort of it.
He was more expecting Dark and Dragon.
Oh, interesting.
Dragon. That would have been an interesting look.
Or that might have been older. I don't know.
Oh.
I can't tell you.
Okay.
Oh well.
Would have been.
But I think he had Dark on the. Or no, there was a mention of water in the chat, but
Okay.
I'm not too sure. But nevertheless, was a good load.
Yeah, and Memphis. I'm curious. What's his record?
Well, of course he played RU that 1 week, but let's see.
Yeah, he did play RU that 1 week, but I think he still won.
Yes, he did.
Hot damn! Great record for Memphis. 6-3. Well done, good sir. Hopefully you come back again for another BLT, because you had an impressive showing this year. Alright, next up we gotta talk about doubles. 5'5" versus Sea Life. This is your game, sir. So,
Yeah.
you faced off against a black and white team. Hitmon.
I did, yeah.
Hitmon top base team. So, notes here are not too long either. We basically saw the Thunderous paralyzing your Entei, who burned Landorus in return, and survived both attacks on turn 2 to kill Thunderous as Roaring Moon knocked off King Gambit's item before Landorus killed it, before Roaring Moon got burned by Volcarona in return, and then Terra ghosted to block Hitmontop's Rapid Spin as Volcarona's
Wasn't it Fake Out?
Yes.
It was Fake Out. Some normal move. But, Volcarona then Terra Grassed and defeated it in return. Then, after Landorus was sacked, we saw the Amoongus paralyzed to Dire Claw, while Volcarona continuously set up Quiver Dance as it killed Sneasler on turn 12, while Ogerpon died to Giga Drain Volcarona, and Landorus lost to Hitmontop, winning Sea Life this game. Alright, 5'5", give us your rundown on what you were thinking when you were playing this game.
Yeah, so basically, I made a few vital errors, right? Burning my Terra on the moon was definitely questionable. A second Tailwind wouldn't have been super worth it, especially because I didn't make great use of it. I ended up banking, having my win con be on, whether or not the Amoongus gets full parried from the Dire Claw proc, and so I could just kill the Volk. But, I mainly threw by, keeping Entei in on, on the Lando and, Thundy, because, it's the win con, because it's AV on this team, instead of banned, so...
Yeah, and there was a Volcarona in the back.
Volk being, grass fire coverage, I basically just threw away my win con against it. It's Amoongus full paras, but I was discussing this with a friend, and Lando T is a bad matchup, just because it's all physical and it hits a lot of stuff, especially if it has a pivot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was just banking on Amoongus being full parried when trying to reach cutter away the Dire Claw. So, but yeah, I ended up getting it, and I just it. The lesson from it is I have to look more to the future of the board and just think of what my late game win cons might be, because I sacked my entire win con on turn 3. So
yeah, really unfortunate too, because maybe I'm wrong, but AV Entei isn't exactly common, is it?
Not really.
And you happen to have it into a Volcarona team, so it's unfortunate that it died so early.
Yeah.
Also, on turn 5, the turn where I knocked off the Volcarona with Lando on the field, instead of switching to Ogerpon, because, I'm not sure why Sea Life didn't Terra Grass, if I actually just, like knock off Earth Power at the Volk, it would have just died and I would have won. So I got a little greedy on the Amogus pressure. Like, it could have been like Protect Spore, or which is like what I was calling, but if I just Earth Powered, I would have won. So I just got a little greedy.
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense why he didn't Terra there, because, like, well, wait, which turn are we talking about?
I am talking about turn 5. If I stayed in and knock off Earth Power the Volcarona, I would have fainted.
Turn 5. Oh. True, yeah.
And then, yeah, he proceeded to Terra Grass on turn 7 in front of the Ogre Pun.
Okay. Well, it would have been nice if, you know, the Roaring Moon did get to survive a little bit longer, but unfortunately, yeah, that Entei dying early, really unfortunate that it had to die so early, as, you know, what was left basically was just a free win con for Entei. And yeah.
Would the Volk have died even if it's a bulky set? Which I think it was.
To Earth Power, yeah, it's Fizz Def, so... Like, you can tell by how much damage knockoff did that it's, well, even when intimidated, that it's a pretty physically bulky Volk. So, it would have died. And it's just like Life Orb Sheer Force Lando is so strong.
It can definitely deal some huge damage.
Yeah, without a boost, it should definitely pick up at 66%.
Yeah, I see.
But the funny part is I almost loaded a variant of the team with Taunt Roaring Moon, which would have been pivotal here.
What do you think? Well, you're really just taunting. I guess you would be taunting the prankster Thunderous and Amogus, really, but that's it, I guess. Or I guess Quiver Dance. Well, there's also Quiver Dance Full, but yeah, it would have been good. Would have been good to have that as a potential setup breaker.
For sure.
But yeah.
But I'm not like too upset with the win because I had a good season. So
you had a very good season. Yeah, definitely one of the stronger double players that we've had. And yeah, it was just a great run that basically contributed to the Pangoro success. So well done there, 5/5.
Thank you.
Yeah, you went 7-2, right?
I did, yeah.
Great record.
Pretty damn good.
Great record. Hopefully you come back next year, and hopefully you can top that.
That'd be very nice.
Alright, next up we have Ranbats. We have JJ versus Lichen. And after last week when Lichen beat MG, I was kind of worried. I was kind of worried that, you know, I was a little worried.
You were worried, Mikoi?
I was a little worried, okay? I was a little worried that Lichen might be pulling off another big upset, but, you know, fortunately...
Okay, so not only would he need a good matchup to do that, he'd probably need quite a bit of luck as well.
Which, in Rands, you know, that can happen. Both instances can happen. So
yeah, but
you know,
you're not going into this predicting that happens, so
of course not. I was expecting JJ to just win here, and fortunately enough, he did in 2, which I was very satisfied with. Maybe I should be less worried, but JJ has also lost to bad things before, so. You know.
Well, it's Rands. Everyone loses to bad things sometimes.
Sometimes, but not all the time. So JJ's games started off...
Well, he didn't lose to bad things all the time, and after all, so...
Only rarely. So, We saw game 1 here. We saw the Salamence setting up a Dragon Dance, but got OHKO'd by Beartick's Icicle Crash, who Terra grounded against Electivire, who died to Urshifu via Life Orb on turn 4, while Ariados knocked off Quagsire.
Well, it died to its Life Orb, not to Urshifu.
Yeah, via the Life Orb recoil. Ariados then knocked off Quagsire's item before dying to its Earthquake on turn 7. Smeargle then putting it to sleep, setting up hazards against Slowking Galar before being poisoned to death. Slowking then Terra poisoning against Urshifu on turn 12, as Quagsire was then sacked to Beartick, who killed Greedent and turn 19 and beat the Dunsparce and Slowking in the end for JJ to win. Beartick, of all mons, being an absolute win con.
Well, when you have webs, I mean, why not?
But one of the worst,
webs and a bunch of hazards at that.
one of the weakest competitively viable ice types out there winning games in 2025, people.
Okay, and what if I told you Beartick has a base attack of... Hold on, I'm gonna check now.
100 something. I've used a Beartick before in a playthrough, so I know how viable it can be.
It has 130 base attack. It has 130 base attack, Mikoi.
I know how.
Urshifu has.
What did you say? 5 for 5?
That's the same stat as Urshifu, so it's pretty strong.
But it's an ice type. It's not good. It's a pure ice type, even.
Yeah, it's an ice type that knows close combat, earthquake, and icicle crash. What's your point?
I'm just saying. It was nice to see crap mons getting the win con, okay? So game 2, we started off with Victory Bell, knocking off items as Snorlax paralyzed the Terrakion on turn 4 and Slowbro Galar on turn 13, who beat Cricketune on turn 18, who Greedent Swords Dance to beat Victory Bell on turn 28, and survived Toucanon's Boom Burst to beat it. Then, Snorlax Terra Fairy'd on turn 35, while Golduck survived an Inteleon's Ice Beam to kill it on turn 42, beating Snorlax in the end for JJ to win. Any other thoughts?
I remember...
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I just wanted to say game 1, getting Smeargle and getting all those hazards was super fortunate. And yeah, Beartick put on a show.
Mm-hmm. What about this game, though?
There's not a lot of good Pokemon in the second game, but
Haha! Told you,
JJ was able to come through.
Yeah, we've had very...
And I'm glad we didn't miss with Golduck at the end, or get flinched, so...
If a Golduck would have missed Hydro Pump, then yeah, it would have been... And it would have been kind of unfortunate. But I think JJ had the foresight to, to preserve it and be strong, and at least be strong with it, as Snorlax would have been a huge problem otherwise. So ultimately...
Well, I mean, JJ also kind of has a Torrent Specs and Teleon in the back.
That's right, that's also in Torrent. Oh, man. It would have been real.
And the Golduck had Encore.
So, Arrest Snorlax would have been impossible to win at that position.
Yeah, especially because I think this Golduck was also Nasty Plot.
Oh, that's really bad then. 10 times worse even. Jesus.
This is why I think Lechin was probably doing a bit more slamming than cursing.
Maybe because he just wanted to get rid of those damn water types.
But also, he doesn't want to get locked into, curse. Because then that's pretty much an auto loss.
It would be a pretty much auto loss at that point. So well done, JJ.
Anyways, I remember watching this game live.
Mm-hmm.
5'5" and I were both watching it.
Mm-hmm.
When the crit happened, and we both almost at the exact same time said, "Oh, huge crit."
Same capitalization and everything.
That was
Yeah.
that was both of your brain cells working in sync together to create that one moment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well done to JJ for absolutely killing it. He's been killing it in Rands, one of the best players, and, former TLT winner as well. So, JJ's just had a pretty good luck of good BLT and tours-related things. So that's a definite win there. An almost guaranteed win. What's his record, anyway?
AJ's record?
7-2, I believe. Same as me.
Oh, 7-2?
Well, the sheet isn't updated, and JJ's most recent battle was a win, so considering it's a 6-2, yeah, his record is probably 7-2.
Damn! That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Good on JJ for, once again, killing it in Rands. One of the best Rands players, and he isn't, and it's not hard to see why. And then we come to the final game, which was coincidentally the final game of the series. Adrian defeating Shilu, the other Fido's strongest player, got beaten by a great player in itself, in Adrian.
Surprisingly, in the same sort of fashion that Django pulled his upset versus Shengineer. With Rain!
They were both brought Rain teams. Coincidence?
I don't know. I think they were just maybe they were looking at scouts or something and said, "Hey, wait a minute. This guy's scout is extremely weak to Rain."
Really?
Or something.
Really?
Can you confirm 5'5"?
Let me take a look.
Because that would have been really funny if the coincidence, Adrian Silu has all these great teams, all these great wins, and all of a sudden, he found his one weakness. Nobody ever thought to brought Rain against him.
No, Adrian built privately for this week, so we don't have any info.
He built pretty well. That's very good. It's very good to have.
I guess the lesson here is let Adrian cook.
He could have cooked here, and he cooked very well. So, we saw the Manaphy setting itself in Rain, Okoing the Gliscor on turn 6, before dying to Slowking on turn 16. Then we saw the Mega Swampert crit Oko.
Okay, wait, there was something I didn't get.
Okay.
Why did Silu switch Urshifu out at turn 5 after hitting the Manaphy? Because, clearly it's faster. But why not just close combat again? I guess he was
pivot.
probably expecting a switching to either Pelipper or Zapdos. Probably the Zapdos. He probably wanted to avoid static, but this ended up being not so good for him in terms of momentum.
Yeah, definitely it was a big momentum
Manaphy
killer.
was still in. It's now full. It has
Hydration.
It has tail glow up.
Hydration, so it can heal off sleep in Rain very well.
Yeah, so, which also begs the question, why did Adrian stay in?
He was risking it, I would say. I want to say risked it, because he's just that good. but
maybe he was thinking Silu will switch out Urshifu because he will think I'm going to switch into Zapdos or Pelipper, but I will actually be staying in to heal because I know that's what he's going to do, and I will take this opportunity to heal. I don't know.
That would be a great 5-head move, but it was definitely a needed one of the contributing factors to a much needed win here for Adrian. So after that,
it certainly helped him get ahead. That's for sure.
So after that, we saw the Slowking dying, killing the Manaphy. Then we saw the Mega Swampert crit Okoing the Goldango as Zapdos then.
Okay, yeah, that was unfortunate.
As Zapdos then burned the Iron Treads in return on turn 20. Then killed Ferrothorn. Then killed the Ferrothorn on turn 24 with Hurricane. Not Heat Wave, but it was under rain, so it matters. So Cinderace then burned Pelipper, while Zapdos paralyzed Mega Swampert. Then, after Swampert and Zapdos both died in succession, we saw the Iron Treads kill the Slowking on turn 37. Cinderace missed gunk shots against Pelipper in the end for Adrian to just kill it and win the game for Sheila, win the game for Adrian, and win the game for the Goros, and eventually win BLT.
Quite the game, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. You have thoughts, 555?
It was an exciting one to watch, I think, live. It was all on the line right here, and especially at the end, seeing the gunshots miss, it's like an analogy for how good of a season we've had, how dominant we've been over the weeks.
Yep, and Adrian ends up with hopefully another pretty good record. He, aside from the obvious favorites in terms of Natdex, I really like Natdex this gen, and I really like the addition of Natdex in this tour because we've gotten to see a lot of really standout players in this tour. That we got with Silu, we got Tempo, we got Rahul locking in those first 3 weeks. And then we have Adrian, who, might not have as great as a record as those players, but, still pulled
He's a decent Natdex player, though.
He is a very decent Natdex player. Very well deserved.
I said seasoned.
Oh, a well-seasoned Natdex player. Well, that probably would make sense. He got to have a good...
He did pretty well in Natdex World Cup, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, damn. That's a good feather in your cap, then. What's his record here, though?
Oh my god.
6'2", you said?
6'3".
6'3". Wow, a lot of 6'3" players.
You have a few too many players that have 6 wins. What the hell? This isn't fair.
That's a sign of a goated team, PokeArt. That's why the Pangoros are so strong. They've proven strong. They've never lost a freaking never lost a freaking week. They've only managed to muster up a tie.
Oh God, you're right. They never lost once.
It's quite the dominant show of affairs, and I'm glad Jordy. This was one of the teams when going in. If I did power rankings, I would have placed the Goros in the tops, in one of the top spots. So I was going into this going, okay, Goros have had a really good season. I don't think the first place curse really doesn't affect them since they've had such a good season. And look what happened. They've beaten the Jirachis quite handily in the semifinals, and then the finals, they just straight up won against the Fidos. They
beat both teams very handily.
Yeah. They've had to showcase their dominance twice in the finals. Rufflet's
should have been us. Should have been us facing them in the finals. Because we didn't lose to them before.
Yeah. You guys can only muster up a tie, didn't you? When you actually faced the Goros.
Yeah, but this would have been our strongest lineup, and we would have been locked in, and it would have been great.
Oh, it would have been funny. So, it would have been real fun. It would have been real fun to see a Rufflets versus Goros. If we did have a third place playoff match, would you have had beaten the Jirachis?
Probably.
Hmm.
I think they were the weakest of the playoff teams, to be honest.
I mean, they were the last ones. They did beat the Cinderace to get the fourth place, so.
The what?
The Cinderaces? The Cinnabar Cinderaces?
Who's gonna tell him that's not what their team is called?
The Based Bunnies!
They're not! It's the Charizards, damn it!
They're the Charizards, that's right. I'm thinking of another fire starter. Who's gonna tell him? No one. Anyway, thank you, 5'5", for joining this this last episode. It was really nice to hear your doubles insight on what you think of the games and one of the team's games in general. And yeah, again, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
And I hope you guys enjoyed the series as well. It has been a very long one, and I've had to record on days where I really don't feel like it because I was doing bigger projects in my own during my own time. But hopefully this goes just goes to show you how a tour can really make or break certain people and players. And this one was definitely a tumultuous BLT, to say the least.
Drama in most weeks. More weeks with drama than not.
People like that, which, no. You shouldn't like that.
No, we don't.
No, you shouldn't like that, but apparently that's what makes BLT entertaining, apparently. No, it doesn't. Are you crazy? So,
who are you talking to?
Well, you know who I'm talking to with that statement. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully next year, I didn't do awards this year because, one, I wasn't really feeling it, and two, busy. Yeah, I was more busy this week, so I couldn't really sit down and watch another set of 100 or 200 games just to find out some really teeny tiny moments. But hopefully next year we would like to see less tiers and hopefully less games, please. I want to keep my sanity at least for this one. This would be a nice distraction. Again.
Yeah, I'd be good cutting Rands.
I'd be good cutting Rands. I'd be good cutting like one of the OUs personally, but it's fine. That's.
I think the only loss from Rands would be MG being in BLT.
As is most people would, but it's fine. It's fine. Hopefully the Pangoros come back next year to defend their title. We haven't really had that in a while, so yeah. Overall, thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in to the next team tour which we're going to be doing in only a couple of weeks.
Be quiet, it starts next week.
I know.
We're gonna be the first video for it is literally less than a week from now.
And I'm probably gonna do another video in between because I want to cover some sort of aspects in retrospect.
The winner of Predicts was, drumroll please, the pick.
Yay! We did horribly.
No, we didn't. Neither of us did horribly. It's just somehow the pick got 80%.
80%? What the? We lost to an AI. We lost to AI.
We've been replaced by AI.
Great. let's record in Chat GPT then. The next BLT video will be in Chat GPT.
I think I might have to kill you if you're serious.
The fact that I actually considered it would be funny. All right, so what was our scores? Let's ignore the pick for a second. Let's talk about the thing that actually matters, is between the both of us.
Well, so you got 7 out of 10. Pretty damn good.
Good. Made up for last week.
And, I got 5 out of 10, because
50%.
the two I think we disagreed on went in your favor.
Finally, for once. So, that's good. Yeah, while she's doing that, 5 do you want to give any last remarks regarding your team and regarding your win here?
Yeah, it was very cool to team up with singles players. I asked like them a little bit of like questions about their metagames, and I felt like being able to be more in the singles scene was definitely fascinating. Like being able to watch the games every week was cool. And yeah, I'm very proud with the team's performance. Like, because I'm not familiar with the scene at all, I didn't know how good the team was going in. So I was just hoping that, like, while I do my part, everybody else does, and it ended up being that way. So, pretty happy.
Yeah, and coming in as a doubles player, seeing doubles, it's a tier. I should probably get myself in that. And then, getting to surround yourself with pretty amazing singles players is sort of a gratifying feeling, because it's definitely you're definitely coming up with some amazing strats, and you're seeing just how incredibly varied these metagames are. And just the Pangoros overall is a very strong lineup. It's one of the strongest lineups I think I've seen from BLT in all my years. Well, most years, we've had very strong teams. I mean, not discounting, but I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I have won a BLT before. It was during the pre. You
don't have to brag.
It was pre-custom avatar, but I did have a really, really good team with. Was drafted by a really, really good team, the Santa Loon Swampers. It was really, really good. But, I haven't competed or, at least attempted to make BLT since. I did manage it twice, and both times we failed. But, it's all well and good. I still enjoyed my time with it. And, I hope, and I'm happy. I'm happy that you had fun as well. And putting up with the 7-2 record was a definite... it's a definite mark. You've made your mark in history as one of the top doubles players, at least for this year. And hopefully it does entice you to come back next year, because next year hopefully we'll thin out some of the problems in the store and improve on it and make sure that the store can be the best it can be.
For sure.
As well, shout out to the hosts. At least despite you guys may potentially face some issues regarding hosting the store, but you guys did good. You guys definitely pulled your weight, and you delivered on earlier promises than expected. But all for the sake of having a really fun tour. It's nice to see very active hosts doing very active things. Okay, are you done yet? I'm done stalling.
I've calculated the totals of how many we got right, but the issue is I don't know I don't know how many total games we predicted.
Oh no. Well, okay, well, just... Oh gosh. We would need the percentages and all that, but... How many games...
That's what I mean.
Man, how many games did we actually predict right?
You predicted 202 right.
That's a good amount, I'd say.
I predicted 165 right, but I was doing a lot less than you, so...
Yeah, you were doing more roughly. You
I
had
wasn't
ruffles.
predicting for my own team.
Yeah, I know. That's what you mean.
Yeah. Anyways, and the pick got 185.
I did the most. Yeah.
12, so that's 48. I'm doing the math. Maybe like pause the video while I'm mathing this out.
Well, I was gonna make a comment in saying that it's quite interesting that the two guests that we had this year both came from finals teams. I mean, we had Greedy, who was part of the Fidos, and then we have 5 here as part of the Goros. So that's very much a coincidence and a half. Yeah, it was a coincidence and a half. Couldn't you tell?
I could not tell.
Alright, I'll pause the video while you calc. Let's announce the final predict tally.
Okay, so the final predict tally is, or should I start with who won it?
Yep.
Or
please start who won.
Okay, so the winner of predicts overall the winner is me, because I got 165 out of 267 predicted games, leaving me with 61.79%.
Yay! Above half.
And you came in, well, actually, no, I guess Greedy Ebb came in second place because he got 61.1% on his overall predicts, even though he predicted for 1 week.
He only just predicted for 1 week. That doesn't count. I wish to say
And, you are next with your 55.8%. Which had you at 202 out of 362.
So in fairness, I did more predicts correct.
And the pick got last of this by getting 185 out of 362, giving it 51.1%.
Yep. Almost exactly half, which would not be very surprising because it's pick.
Yes, the prospect of it getting half and half was why we even decided to include it in predicts, because we want to experiment.
And experiment we did, and what did we ended up? What was the result of our experiment?
Sometimes it'll do inexplicably well.
But in totality, it just barely amounts to
It was usually average or below average, yeah.
Yeah. So we basically proved nothing. We just proved that it was exactly even. Anyway, time to officially close out BLT 12 by thanking you guys for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you won't miss a video once it comes up. We'll see you for the next team tour. And hopefully, well, next year, BLT 13. There's been 13 editions of BLT? You guys are old. Alright. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been McCoy, signing out. See you in the next year.
Bye-bye.